Well, hello, and welcome to Stop, Let's Team Up, my Legion adventure, episode 19, and we will be covering Adventure Comics 303. It was published in the cover date is December 1962, so about 3 months, if this was a monthly at this point, I guess how it worked. So sometime between September or October of 1962. We still haven't got to when I born. It has a nice Kurt Swan, George Klein Irish Snap cover, which is about the lead story, the man who hunted Superboy by Mort Weisinger, editor, plotter, scripter unknown, penciler, inkler George Papp, letterer Joe Letteris, and it's a Superboy story. The backup story is the one we're going to be talking about. It is a 12-page story called The Fantastic Spy. The credits are editor, plotter Mort Weisinger, plotter, scripter Jerry Siegel, penciler, inker Joe Forte, letterer Joe Letteris. The featured members of the Legion in this issue are Cosmic Boy and Saturn Girl, Lightning Lad, Triplicate Girl, Chameleon Boy, Shrinking Violet, Superboy, Sun Boy, and Bouncing Boy, Brainiac 5, and Matter Eater Lad, who joins in this story. So Tenzil Kem is here. Also, we have the first appearance of Chief Wilson of the Science Police. And there's some other buddies. A villain that has never been seen again, Dr. Landro and Meg Laro. Sunboy's misspelled in this. Okay, that's good to know. Let's get to the little synopsis from this lovely magazine called the Official Index of the Legion of Superheroes. While visiting Sunboy and Lightning Lad in the hospital, Cosmic Boy and Brainiac 5 meet Dr. Landro and witness his demonstration of curative capsules implanted directly into injured limbs. A week later, the bedridden Legionnaires are released and are present at the induction of Matter Eater Lad and the assignment of several top-secret missions by the Science Police. Unfortunately, each mission fails, leading to the Legion to suspect a traitor in their midst. Matter Eater Lad is accused and fled. However, Brainiac 5 had deduced that the shrinking ray invented by the original Brainiac and encased in a curative capsule on Sunboy's ankle, he and Matter Eater Lad had staged the latter's accusation to mislead the true culprit. Once the tiny spy leads Dr. Landro and his allies to a planet where Superboy is waiting to apprehend them, the Legion has him restored to normal and taken into custody. This is a cute little 1962 Legion story. The best part of it is the introduction of Matter Eater Lad, which I think a lot of Legion fans have a soft spot for their heart in all the different versions. This version, the reboot version, is kind of cool. And kind of funny. I don't think he's really a member in that, but he ends up getting to be a tragic kind of character in the 70s. He is written out because he goes mad by eating the miracle machine, but he's fun. I'm a big fan of his in this. He worked for me in this era, and he worked for me as a comedic foil in 5 years later, and then he would just be in and out. He was just one of those characters that they kind of wrote out because he was silly. But he has a fan base. It's neat. There's a lot in this, the standard diversion kind of thing. Hey, look at the neat future things, the little capsules, blah, blah, blah. We put in people, but you find out there's a little man in there controlling it. The Science Police are becoming more prominent, and Chief Wilson, who will be around for decades, is introduced in this. That's kind of cool. It's just a pretty, I like it. I enjoyed the story. It's not the greatest story in the world. The art is fun. I'm really enjoying the John Forte art. The neat things, they have the mind helmets that holds people back, a doomsday bomb. The villain, Milagro, who is this big, giant-headed guy with a little-bitty body in a globe, reminds me of a Dan Dare villain. If you've ever seen Dan Dare, it was, I guess it was in comic action or TV action in England in the 60s, 50s, and 60s. Science fiction, and that kind of looks like their villains, or the villains that were in the Dalek strip that was in TV action. So that was kind of cool. But it's a neat little story. It's kind of interesting in the fact that, it's Matter Eater Lad, and there's a cute little plot, but it's a oh my god, Chameleon Boy and Cosmic Boy go undercover as a married couple, and he wears a blonde wig and glasses, and Chameleon Boy transforms himself into this pretty brunette woman in a blue and white dress. But they're all found out. It's a lot of fun. And Superboy just comes in at the end. I think they just insert Superboy randomly at the end of stories in this era because it's really, it's about him most of the time. But, that's it for this one. It's the last one. The next issue we're going to be doing, 304, is the first Legion election we see. Cosmic Boy's been the leader. We're about to have the first election. And, it's a 40-year-old comic. Is it a 40? No, it's a 60-year-old comic, and I'm not going to do the spoilers to who wins the election because that's part of that story. It's going to be a lot of fun. I do want to talk a little more about Matter Eater Lad, and let me look up his entry in this magazine. Okay. There we go. Matter Eater Lad, his first appearance, issue 301. He was in a brown costume, and it's from the planet Bismoll, like as in Pepto Bismol. I think that's really funny. He's a member for. When does he's written out in he leaves to run for office in Superboy 212, which is ways down the line. He eats the Miracle Machine some years later, and he devours it in Superboy and the Legion 251, and then in 297 he's returned to Bismol and resumes his political career now as a senator on that world. So yeah, he kind of disappears for a long period of time, and he was like in that I think it's either in a Cockrum issue where it's in a Cockrum issue. I think when he leaves, they're Carrie Bates and whoever may have been Paul write him out, and he doesn't. He comes back to save the day in 251 Legion 251. When an insane Brainiac 5 almost destroys everything, and Tenzil has to eat the Miracle Machine, but we'll get to that in several decades. No, in a few years. But it's neat. He's a neat little character. He's fun. Why don't you Google him? I'm going to put some pictures of him up in his incarnation from here. This is a fun little comic. It's well worth a read. It takes about 5 minutes. It's going to be one of those ones where I really don't have a lot to say about other than it's somewhat entertaining and it's a neat look at the time. The next issue is a standout of this era. It is one of the we're about to go to a run of stories where things happen and they have weight and meaning through time, through the history of the comic. Matter Eater Lad is one of those, but I mean, we're going to get to some really famous early Legion stories that I think is one reason Legion was so beloved is that it did things that had ramifications. It wasn't always a reset like this kind of story was. So check it out. It's not on the app. I hate to say it. I'm reading it in the archives. I know it's available in softcover Silver Age Volume 1, most likely, or Volume 2, I don't know. But it's also in the first big omnibus. On trades and stuff, I got in the mail the last 2 volumes of the 3 boot in hardcover, the 2 volumes of Jim Shooter, which I got them nice and hardcover. They're very inexpensive, a good dealer on eBay at a good price, and I got them, and they're on my shelf. And when I get to that in their 3 boot, I will read them physically. I've thumbed through them, and I was really confused. So I will get there when I've taken a pause in my reading of 3 boot. Jim's going to come on in a couple weeks, and we're going to talk reboot. I've got the thing to think. This week, our next episode you'll hear is on Thursday. It is going to be Those Daring Defenders number 4, where we cover a Submariner issue, which I do not have in front of me, but we've got the last 2 comics before Marvel feature. I'm happy to announce that Ron Hubbard from Fantastic Comic Fan is going to join me for the Marvel feature number 1, and I have a guest coming up, and I'll announce that closer to it when I do Defenders 1. And me and Ron are going to talk a little bit our takes on Defenders then. And I'm looking forward to that. And we're recording some stuff today. And this weekend, on Saturday's episode will be about Brave and the Bold, number 83. Batman and the all-new Wonder Woman. You all picked it from, I gave you a choice of Marvel Team Up, a Marvel 2-in-1, a Brave and the Bold, and a DC Comics Present. And this DC Comics Present Batman Wonder Woman story, drawn amazingly by Mike Sikowski from JLA fame, but this is the Emma Peel, Diana Riggs kind of Wonder Woman. And I've never read this one, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. So a lot of stuff coming on, so check it out. I'm hopefully a week from next Friday after next, I'm going to be picking up my Legion of Superheroes 5 Year Later Volume 2 Omnibus. I'm very excited about that, and I'm going to do a video about it. I've ordered some equipment. I'm going to try to do more on the YouTube channel of me, these live feeds, and you get to see my ugly mug while I'm talking. But you're going to have to bear with my learning curve. It'll be much more interesting than the stills from what I post. But I appreciate those of you who are listening on YouTube. If you are, please like and subscribe and click that little bell. It helps the algorithm. I really do want to kind of make a little bit of money. I'm not trying to feed myself with it, but I'm trying to be able to pay for new microphones, some of the comics I want, pay for my my Libsyn feed and stuff like that. Make this a little more in this economy, a little more, self-sustaining. So I appreciate your following me, and every little bit of it on the YouTube helps. And I really do appreciate it. I also want to recommend some stuff. One is the Weird Warriors podcast. It's at Weird War Pod on Twitter. Max, one of the hosts, it's like the biggest cheerleader for comic podcasts in the universe. So I have not started listening. I do that tomorrow morning. I finally caught up with all of the Earth 2 podcasts. So now I'm going to start at the beginning of Weird Warriors and give it a try. And I am not a war comic guy, and this is a war comic kind of horror thing. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. And I'm going to read the comics that they read, try to, read along so I can get immersed in a vein of comics that I was never a big fan of. But some people I follow like it, and I trust in their opinion. So I'm going to give it a chance. So thank you, Max. Please check them out. Check out Earth 2 podcast. It's great. I've also trying to start catching up on. I'm way behind on Tighten Up the Defense with Hub and Corey. Amazing show. So silly, so funny. And so me doing Defenders, I feel kind of guilty. So I'm just going to give you my 2 cents, and then I'm always going to point you toward Hub and Corey and listen to their zaniness, and it is just amazing. Check out Fantastic Comic Fan like always. Check us out on Instagram. We're at Stop Let's Team Up there. I'm going to try to do some more posting. Please write us at stopletsteamup at gmail.com. I would love your input. I would love your suggestions for the Saturday show, jumping around doing stuff. If you think of something really good, I'll drop it in on a Wednesday. Me and my wife have always talked about her doing some stuff on my Doctor Who podcast, of watching stuff, but she watches the Marvel shows with me. Would you like to hear a married couple? I know there are some great married couple comic podcasts out there. But if you're interested, would you like to hear a comic nerd and his non-comic nerd wife who likes comic stuff on TV chat about stuff? I have not done any animated. I have thought about doing some, so maybe I'll do some, there's the JLU podcast that's out there, which I need to dive into. There's so many good comic ones, and I was such a Doctor Who only podcast person for a long time, because I do one. So, but I'm going to jump in. So give us some suggestions. Reach out to me. It would be a big help. Please, if you like the podcast, or if you don't, feel free to do it then. But if you can go to the Apple link or whatever your podcast listening of choice. I'm a Spotify guy. I'm lazy. Spotify, and if it's not on Spotify, it's Podbean, and every once a blue moon on Google. I'm lazy, so I like Spotify. But you can give 5 stars on there. You can't write a review, but you can rank it. I would appreciate it. It would help me build followers. I will tell you this, this is a small little podcast that is growing. It is not huge in any sense of the word, but it is growing quicker than I had ever hoped. And that's because you guys are listening to me gab 3 times a week, and I really, really appreciate it. And tell your friends, give us a shout out, like, repost, a review. I would really, really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Okay, and that's enough of me shilling. There's probably more of me shilling than there was episode to this today. So enjoy this issue. Go find it, Adventure 303, and enjoy the introduction or the membership, final membership, the point where my narrator lad becomes a member of the Legion of Superheroes. It's a lot of fun. Check us out on all the places I've said. And folks, be smart, be kind, and go read some comics.